Morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. I actually just got here. So Sharon and I spoke during the week. I said, I'm flying in from Tel Aviv. I'm leaving Thursday night. I got to get to New Jersey, and then I got to catch, after a 1-hour layover, a flight to LA. And Sharon said, God loves me. You'll make it. Don't worry. So clearly. I only have about 2 or 3 minutes, and I got to tell you, I had a whole thing I was going to talk about, really about SodaStream, because we've had a heck of a year. I was here last year, and I spoke to a lot of folks who were still kind of like, do I really need this? What does it do for me? I could open up a can of Coke. What's the big deal? So I kind of wanted to start with this video because it gives a great overview. We've had a heck of a year, from last year's Israel conference to this year's Israel conference. SodaStream is now sold in 60,000 stores worldwide in 45 countries, including 15,000 here in the United States. You can get a lot of information about us online because we're publicly traded. In fact, our symbol is SODA, S-O-D-A. And as you saw, we've had some great partnerships with some high-class companies that are global. Samsung, the refrigerator that Sharon is going to have in her kitchen this year, that will give you SodaStream. And Kool-Aid and Country Time and Ocean Spray and brands that are coming in and saying, I want to play. I want to be part of this revolution. Because that's what it is. It's a revolution. It's saying, I don't need to carry the soda anymore. I don't need to figure out what to do with the empties and pay all the money and make all the waste. I dare say I don't think anyone in this room understands how many bottles and cans go to the garbage every day. Every day around the world, it's 1 billion. Every day. And it's a huge number. Technology from Israel says doesn't have to happen anymore. So, and again, the products are made in Israel. We have 8 facilities in Israel among our 22 that are worldwide. One of the other things that's kind of struck me was this, and I've been talking to some people outside, and in the lounge, and before one of the flights overnight, there was an Israeli guy who was coming from Tel Aviv to New York, and he was going to spend the weekend preparing for his Monday meetings. He's a startup. He's the head of a startup. His second one, his first one failed. But he's really passionate, and he's got the right idea, and he thinks he's got the right team and the whole thing. And what happened was, I told him, well, I'm from SodaStream, and he started laughing. Why? And anybody who's in this room who's Israeli, who's over 30 years old, knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because SodaStream, and I'll say it in Hebrew, Ma kara la'sifuluk hazeh. Sifuluks. We're a company that's now worth over $1 billion, and no Israeli could have ever believed it to happen. And I'll tell you what I said to the guy who I met in the lounge. I said, it's not going to happen because you have a great product. You might have a great product, or you might have a great service. It'll happen if you have the right people. Anybody in your organization that's a downer, get them out. Because you don't want those kind of people in your organization. Anybody who's not a dreamer, who doesn't have the integrity of self to have the passion and say, we could do this, even though other people say we can't do it, get them out. 3 years ago, when we took SodaStream public, almost 3 years ago, more lawyers and bankers and all these smart people, musicians too, because they're smart people, were all saying, what are you doing? Why do you need to do this? It's a fad. It's going to come. It's going to go. You're going to have 1 million competitors. Lots of big brands are going to say, well, if this is interesting, I can do it and I can crush this company. Okay? And anybody in this room who's looking to make, to bring their product to market, remember this. We said to ourselves, we know we have something good. It's just a matter of having the right team and the right attitude. And now, obviously, the record speaks for itself. The company has survived and the company has thrived. So my message is, and I was inspired by the conversation with this guy because he had the same attitude. He goes, I don't care what anybody says. I know it's good. I know it's going to work, and we're going to make it happen. So I would say to anybody who's looking for that type of, by the way, what you're looking at is soda bars that we have around the world. Again, something that a lot of folks said, why would you bring a soda bar to the London Victoria and Albert Museum, for people who are in the design world? And we said, why wouldn't you bring the most revolutionary, the sexiest, the most exciting new concept in kitchen to all of these beautiful events in Milan and in Stockholm, these design events and fashion events, etc. And that is a PR buzz opportunity. And for anyone with a company, there's nothing as valuable as PR. I don't care if you do TV commercials. All right, unless you do a Super Bowl commercial. We did a Super Bowl commercial this year. We were the first Israeli company ever to do a commercial in the Super Bowl. Thank you. And it was great. It worked out great. A lot of controversy around it. Anyone who knows our story, we're pretty good at being a little provocative with our message, especially about the environment. But it's not about the TV commercials. It's about using buzz. It's PR and it's people and it's networking in environments like this Israel conference where you meet dozens of people who, if you can turn them on, they will remember you and they will tell your story to somebody else. And eventually that's going to come back in a good way. So I want to thank Sharona again for the opportunity to bring us out here. I know there was some giveaways, so for those of you who want it, that's great. I saw some hands up, people who already have a SodaStream. Thank you very much. We appreciate your usage, and hopefully you'll be ambassadors and get other folks to enjoy it as well. And you're coming up to give me the hook?
No. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, because it's so inspiring what you're talking about, and you know I adore SodaStream, and I have one in my office, I have one in my house, I go out and I get them to give for gifts. I think it's the only way to do it. I hand them the box upside down and say, see what this says at the bottom, made in Israel. But financially, on Wall Street, you went public. For how much?
We went public at $20 a share. At the time, about $300 million, maybe a little less. We did a secondary offering 6 months later, which at the time was the biggest secondary offering in the history of Israel. We raised another $300 million for the secondary. Today, the company is trading at about a $1.3 billion valuation.
So did we blow it that we didn't buy it at 20 bucks?
I also manage the IR, so I can't.
All right.
I can't comment.
All right, I'm buying stock. I just have to tell you. and you did a secondary offering. That was the largest secondary offering on NASDAQ by an Israeli company or by any company?
The largest in Israel ever, from an Israeli company.
For an Israeli company on NASDAQ, which is such a feat that a consumer product company, not a tech company, but a consumer product company that has tech in it, could accomplish such a
that's
big
the thing.
feat.
It's interesting. Rob was talking earlier, and I was listening. I love Rob. I don't know if he's still in the room, but we've been on events together, and he's just unbelievable. And he was speaking earlier about Israelis and the attitude. I'm not a native Israeli, but I've been living there now for 10 years, and you see it. It's just such a can-do attitude, whether it comes from the military or it just comes from the independence of living in a family, right? For a kid, where every mother on the street is your mother. I have 5 kids, and they know that if they're in trouble, they can go to anyone and to help. And it's just a spirit over there. And we are one of the few consumer product companies that have continued, that we didn't just look and exit and move on. We believe in what we're doing. We're going to continue to grow. We've got plans to go. We're in 45 countries already. We're going to add more this year. So, I think that bringing that story is hopefully inspirational to others in Israel who can realize it's not just about high tech.
Right.
It could be anything.
Well, Yonah, please bring SodaStream every single year to the Israel conference, larger and larger. Everyone here loves it. I'm getting requests. Can I win a SodaStream? Can I win a SodaStream? You come in enough years, you'll win a SodaStream. Because SodaStream will always be here.
Indeed.
Thank you, Yonah.
Thank you, Sharona.
We adore you.